Hey guys, today we are coming out a little bit from my desk and I am here in a park. Alright, in a park. So today the topic is going to look at vlogging with older technology, i.e. my 6-year-old Samsung NX30 camera. Now right now this footage is shooted with my cell phone, iPhone SE 2020, and we will compare footages with cell phones and also the Samsung NX30 to see if this 6-year-old camera will still be worth doing outside shooting. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I'm Ka. Now in this channel you will find review videos on gadgets that I get for entertainment, teaching and cooking. I also like to share my favorite recipes and tutorial videos on how to do video editings. If these are your interested topic and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider hitting the subscribe button. This channel needs your help to grow. So as you saw in the intro clip, today I am actually taking my 6-year-old Samsung NX30 out from my studio to the park and do a little bit vlogging test to see how it works on the outside compared to my iPhone. So without further talking, let's head back to the park. Alright guys, here we are looking at my Samsung NX30 footage. Now I do have an external mic plugged into it, and here you can hear the voice and potentially even hear some of the birds sound. Okay, now this lens in particular is the Samsung lens with 16mm and an aperture of 2.4. Right now I'm shooting at an auto mode, i.e. having an autofocus. Now you may see some blurring effect in the background, but sometimes this effect may not be as clear as shown in this lens. Now this particular lens does not have any optical image stabilization there, and all it's doing is using some internal stabilizations with the camera, and as well as my arm, which is getting sore already. Alright, now so this footage is from my iPhone SE 2020, the front-facing camera. Now you can see the viewing angle was a lot less compared to the NX30 16mm focal length, and I am using the same tripod, which is just a plain tripod, nothing special, handheld one, doesn't have any built-in stabilizations. So it's really depending on my hand being steady while I'm walking there. So I really think my face is showing up way too big in this camera compared to the other one, which I don't necessarily like this effect. Alright, so this time I'm still using the same NX30 camera, but I have switched to a different lens. This is the Samsung lens with 18 to 55mm focal length at the aperture between 3.5 to 5.6. This lens actually have a optical image stabilization built-in. Currently I'm using an auto mode, i.e. trying to autofocus my face. Now you can see occasionally the camera still lose focus on my face, even though I didn't really move my arm at all. I'm just plain old walking. Now as you see the background, the bokeh effect actually is quite similar to the 16mm lens. So, but on the other hand, you don't get as wide of a field in terms of your viewing angle. Now, as I am walking right now at this point, this camera or this lens, it continues to lose focus on my face. It's have some trouble trying to hunt for the focus. Now if I'm stable, it's doing fine. Alright, let's try this footage again. Now I'm still using the 18 to 55mm lens right now, but everything else is auto, i.e. the ISO, the shutter speed and everything else, except for the focus. This lens does have a menu switch to switch to manual focus, and I have used it to lock on to my face. Now the only catch is I really have to fix my arm at a certain angle. Now this camera is not necessarily anything that is light, right? Definitely a lot more heavy than an iPhone SE. And the longer you try to vlog and walk with this camera in this angle, your arm does get sore. Yep. So vlogging actually could be an exercise, I feel like. Now, right now, I'm focusing it with a manual focus, and as long as my arm maintain a equal distance to my face, the focus is fine. And in terms of color and saturations there, you can see it's really not that bad. Now let's compare some landscape footages between the lenses and my iPhone SE. NX30 with 16mm wide angle lens. You can see the color is really decent on this camera. And the contrast is very good. With an 18mm lens, the angle is not that wide, but the color saturations are similar. The contrast with light and dark are good. Now using the iPhone SE 2020 back camera, you can see the contrast is a little bit overexposed under sunlight, and you can see some glare of the sun, and definitely it's overexposed. Now let's take a look at the motion footages. And I'm shooting everything in an auto mode, and you can see how the camera or the lens are trying to hunt for focus again. And here with a 55mm focal length, there's still a little bit autofocus hunting going on. And honestly, it's better to use manual mode to shoot. Now using iPhone SE 2020 back camera. The biggest downside of using the camera from the phone is the contrast. It's either overexposed or underexposed in many cases. So I hope today's video gives you a little bit insight on vlogging with older technology. So this 6-year-old camera, it's kind of heavy in my opinion, and honestly, I don't know if it is just be easier to vlog with your smartphone. Now these days smartphone cameras are relatively good now, and I was just using a pretty entry-level iPhone SE or more of a mid-grade. So if you have a better phone these days or flagship phone, I think it is more worth to just vlog with your phone than to take out your older camera, which is somewhat bulky and heavy. And the main downside, I think, is on the autofocus part. Older camera usually have a little bit harder time to stay autofocus on your face, which is very important in a vlogging situations. On the other hand, if you're just taking footage in your studio or on your desk, like what I've always been doing, using manual mode works fine. So the conclusion is probably it's just better staying with your iPhone or other Android smartphone for simple vlogging videos. And that is all for today, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.